The world unfolds differently for each of us. Why? Where do the rules come from? Within each of us, there is a unique philosophy shaping our thoughts, beliefs, feelings, worldviews, and actions. This is Inner Dialogues with Ecem, an introspective space for curious souls and minds. This is where you get to understand your individual philosophy that writes the script of your life. This is where we unveil the inner wisdom that guides you. Yep, that was your inner sage knocking the door. Let's go and chat with him. Hi, it's Ecem. Welcome back to Inner Dialogues with me. Today I want to talk about pain, specifically glorification of it. Wisdom is nothing more than healed pain, said Robert Gary Lee. Wisdom is nothing more than healed pain. Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something, said William Goldman. And also it was a line from The Princess Bride. Does it really? In my previous job, we went to a meeting with my manager at a very luxurious chain of hotels. We had an hour or so meeting with the head of the hotel and the head of a department that I cannot remember, to be honest. We were talking about in which departments interns can have roles and in which departments is not very plausible. And the lady said something quite a few times in a similar way. I've gotten where I am today after all that suffering in different positions in this hotel, from the lowest to where I am at today as the head of this department in this kind of a hotel. I'm not gonna let anyone who's starting new to this industry promote quickly or start from a high position without years of painful teaching experience. To this day, I cannot forget the lobby we were in, the chair she was sitting in, and the whole atmosphere with every detail at the moment as she was saying that. It hit me. It hit me and made me sad very deeply. I felt very bad for her. I felt bad for her because she was neglecting every part of her which makes her who she is, and attributing where she is right now and who she is to years of pain and suffering. I felt bad for her and the people whose paths will come across with her because of her unhealed pain, which was craving to create further pain. I was feeling bad and sad for myself because I was scared of these people. These people want to escalate the stairs of the corporate world while being so blind and painful to others whom they meet on the road, whom they step on, whom they cause pain. She has become one of the most tangible examples of the glorification of pain in my life that I have come across so far. But let me start from the beginning. I wasn't aware of this concept, or better to say, this tendency of ours. I wasn't aware of this phrase and the conditioning we have in our relationship with pain. Finneas, a singer, songwriter, and producer, has a very beautiful, touching, deep, and at the same time mundane song called Only a Lifetime. I really, really love the lyrics. It talks about simple things that we do as people with our loved ones, the moments we share, the anger and the pain we carry inside, our dreams, and losing ourselves for the sake of fame and money in our jobs. There's a line that goes like this: I'm unimpressed by the people preaching pain for the sake of some small gain in the sake of someone's name. I'm gonna repeat it. I'm unimpressed by the people preaching pain for the sake of some small gain in the sake of someone's name. This song and this specific line made me realize our tendency to glorify pain. No pain, no gain. Remember? I believe it started as an exercise proverb, but in years it turned into books, movie lines, probably a song line, and many more things. We've been preaching pain to gain success, recognition, fame, wealth, promotion, happiness, and even love. Why though? Why do we feel a need to glorify our pains? I think glorifying pain can become a justification for why in the first place we let ourselves suffer. It can become a justification for our pains to be reasonable. We glorify pain so that all that suffering is not being wasted, so that it cannot hurt us anymore. We rationalize pain by glorifying it so all that suffering wouldn't turn out to be meaningless. Glorifying pain is most of the time a defense mechanism. Because we cannot look at pain directly, we come up with different narratives. We either bottle it up, which causes diseases and illnesses, or turn it into passive aggressiveness and offensive behavioral and reaction patterns. Or we glorify it. We create a story around how that pain brought us today, the person who we are today. I would challenge that. It sounds so miserable to me, attributing the person we become today to all the pain we have suffered sounds very miserable to me. Life is pain, Highness. Anyone who says differently is selling something. Well, then I'm selling something. I'm selling an idea and freedom to us. I'm selling autonomy to all of us. I'm selling your power back to you. Life is not only pain. Life includes pain. Wisdom is not nothing more than healed pain. Wisdom includes pain, but more than that, the key word there is healed. Healing is a choice. It's a very intentional and deep choice. It is a process. It is not a momentary thing. It requires dedication and commitment. It includes a lot of back and forth, but healing is a choice. What made you acquire wisdom as a result of all the pain you went through was not the pain. It was your choice. It was your decision to choose to heal, to choose to learn from the pain. In the case of pain, you had the option to not learn from it, to not see the message behind it, and to continue suffering. But if you decided to look at the pain and sit with the pain, you decided not to neglect it. At that time, pain surrenders to you. It surrenders and opens its door and shows you what's inside, what's the message that is bringing to you. You may easily choose not to see that door, not to knock on that door, not to step inside that door. You may easily do that. But if you didn't do that, then pain becomes wisdom. So now I'm asking again, is wisdom really nothing but a healed pain? We can discuss what wisdom is in many different contexts, but today I want to focus on the pain element. A friend of mine is reading the classical novel Moby by Herman Melville. It has been a journey for her to read it because it is quite a heavy book with all those racist statements. And I'm very grateful that although I haven't read the book, as she reads, she shares passages with me. We discuss quite deeply about them. And funny enough, as I was recording this episode, she sent another voice message with a whale emoji. So I'm assuming another passage and discussion points are coming about Moby Dick. Anyway, one of the passages she shared with me was the following, quote, "The sun hides not all the millions of miles of deserts and of griefs beneath the moon. The sun hides not the ocean, which is the dark side of this earth, and which is 2/3 of this earth. So therefore that mortal man who hath more of joy than sorrow in him, that mortal man cannot be true, not true or undeveloped." End quote. I like to read these kind of sentences and paragraphs a couple of times, and I would like to see them written to fully embrace the meaning and unfold it more deeply. So I'm going to repeat it in sections. He starts by saying that the sun doesn't hide the miles of desert and griefs beneath the moon. Also, the sun doesn't hide the oceans, which is the dark side of this earth, as well as the dark side of humans based on the symbolism in the book. The oceans are so big that they are 2/3 of this earth. The dark side of this earth and our souls is so big that it takes 2/3 of our earth and beings. But the sun sheds light on both of them, both the deserts and the oceans. Then he concludes by saying, "A mortal man who has more joy than sorrow in him, that mortal man cannot be true. He is either not true or undeveloped." The sun equally sheds light on the deserts of this world, the joy of humans, and on the oceans, the dark side of this earth, the pain and sorrow of humans. And the earth is complete by having two opposites, dark and light, hot and cold. Humans are complete by having joy and pain. In my friend's words, quote, "A man who has more joy than sorrow in him is not a true man. He's not completely developed. He doesn't know life completely in its entirety." End quote. What's the difference in the role of pain here when we compare it to the previous quote or general attribution of pain that we discussed previously? How is it different to the lady who said, "I'm here in this position because of all the years of suffering"? I think there is no glorification of pain here. Joy and pain, they are equal on the scale. If joy is important, so is pain. If pain is necessary and vital, so is joy. If one has more on one side, then there is an imbalance. The opposites necessitate each other. Dark and light, desert and ocean, day and night, tall and short, good and bad, cold and hot. When we get to witness the unity of opposites, I think we can witness an ethereal beauty, because our minds at that moment can be free from opposition. Our minds can be free from the assumption that opposites have to negate each other. I'm sure you heard of the Namib Desert, where desert meets the sea, the ocean. I cannot imagine a more beautiful depiction of how opposites can exist together. Can you please at this moment Google the Namib Desert? Please do that. I highly encourage you to take your phone right now as you are listening to this episode and Google the Namib Desert and ocean. And just witness how beautiful it is. Water and sand, water and road, hot and cold. Most of the time, we don't realize opposites do exist with each other, right next to each other. Our human minds fall into the illusion that they should be far away from each other. If one is there, then the other cannot be there. When joy is here, there shouldn't be any traces of pain. When pain is here, there shouldn't be any joy. Is it the case though? Have you ever experienced a moment where you felt truly happy because you were having the time of your life, you were creating memories and experiences of a lifetime, but deeply there was this bittersweet feeling of, I'm gonna miss these moments. Will I ever be able to live them again or similar moments to these? How can we do this again? Have you ever experienced this? I think you have. I went on a work trip with one of my colleagues in my previous job. It was a 10-day trip in Dublin. It was a work trip, but we made the most out of it by discovering outside of the city, experiencing the nature of Ireland, listening to Irish folklore stories, talking about quite deep topics. And as I was living those moments, those 10 days, it was the best. I was so happy. And deep inside, there was also this bittersweetness that always followed me in every moment. The bittersweetness of getting one day closer to ending the trip, not being able to create these memories, to not being able to have these conversations together, which were life-changing for me, but at the same time, they were echoes of my inner world. The bittersweetness of when we have another trip like this, whether are we going to have any at all? And what will happen if one decides to quit, which happened, and that was me. These moments like this that we don't want to lose, but we want to remember and reminisce forever, are the tangible proofs that opposites can exist together at the same time, not with the same intensity, of course. Same as joy and pain. If you have listened to episode 4, where we challenged our perspectives of death and our traditions around it, this will make more sense to you. When we say goodbye to our loved ones, in most of the cultures it brings a deep pain and sorrow. Having any signs of joy and happiness can be interpreted as being disgraceful and shameful. But as I said in that episode, why we don't celebrate the life that person have lived, instead of crying over the life that they have lost, the person we have lost from our lives? Why the focus is on the second one? Or maybe why they have to negate each other? Can't I feel pain and sorrow because I lost someone whom I valued and loved so much, and at the same time I feel happy and joyful for them because they have lived a beautiful life? Can't I do that? Maybe pain could be heavier more than joy, but can't I do that? I think I can, and I think I should. Same with our experiences in our unique lives. We all have pain, big or small, doesn't matter. We all have them. One is not less valuable than the other, but also one is not more valuable than the other. My small pain is as valuable as your big pain. We also have joy in our lives. Why don't we glorify our joy? Look at me. I suffered so much, but here I am. This is the narrative of the glorification of pain. We expect applause for it, for where we are standing, for even being here after all the pain. And it deserves an applause. It really does. You being here every day deserves recognition. But it is not because you went through so much suffering and pain. If it has to be because of something, I think it is definitely because of your choice to learn from your pain, to turn it into a self-serving experience, into a generous, loving wisdom. Thank you for being here. Not just here listening to this podcast, but here on this day, today, every day is your choice to be here. We are far more complex and intentional beings than attributing our experiences merely to our pains. Let's finish today's episode, but before we do, I want to take you somewhere. Remember the Namibian Desert? The one where the infinite sand meets the infinite ocean? The one you Googled to see a photo of it? If you haven't checked it out, please do take this time and Google it. The Namibian Desert and the Ocean. Namibian. The Namibian Desert and the Ocean. I'm here, waiting. Go ahead. If you haven't Googled it, go ahead, Google it. If you have watched the latest movie, Dune Part 2, I'm sure you'll remember this scene where Paul is having visions of her unborn sister standing on the edge of a dune and looking at the ocean waves crashing the sand. It was a beautiful scene, visually. It was delightful to watch. So if you have watched it, we'll go there now. If you haven't, I highly encourage you to read the books first and then watch the movies. If not, please watch the movies in any case. But for now, let's go to the Namibian Desert. If your environment allows you, close your eyes. Close them. You're safe. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of the Namibian Desert. The vastness of the sand meeting the endless blue of the ocean. The warmth of the sun on your skin, the cool spray of the ocean mist. How beautiful it is, right? This is how it feels when we embody the unity of opposites. A place where joy and sorrow, light and dark, good and bad, hardship and triumph coexist in breathtaking harmony. Do you feel a bit lighter? Do you feel a bit more free? Can you bring this image, this feeling into your own life? Can you embrace your experiences, both the joyful and the painful ones? Can you recognize their value in shaping who you are? Can you remember that your wisdom is not born from suffering alone, but from your choice to heal, learn, and grow? What will you choose to create today? As our conversation for today fades away, may you find your echoes of it that resonate within you. Thanks for listening today. This is Inner Dialogues with Ecem, a place where you discover your inner you, a place where you belong. Take care.